Brittany thinks that Lord Tubington started COVID.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Glee on the Rocks. I am Emily.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm B.
And we have another episode of Glee for you, which is surprising for a Glee podcast, I think, that we're not talking about something else.
I mean, we will definitely talk about other things.
We will.
All Glee all the time.
Yeah. For the moment, we're going to aim for Glee.
Can you imagine how short these episodes would be if we didn't have tangents?
Especially on a Glee episode as boring as this one.
Yeah.
It's so boring. I am going to admit at the outset that I fast-forwarded through a couple performances, and I'm not ashamed of that.
Relatable.
At least 3 of them. I didn't have time to watch some of those, so I didn't.
And that's how we do it here.
So I think that really speaks to something, because I don't know when you, listener, are listening to this, but at the moment we are in a lockdown scenario in
right
country where we literally can't leave the house, and I think we all still skip some of these.
Literally I have all the time in the world.
Just not for that.
It's I have nothing better to do, but that nothing is better than this. So I'm just gonna skip on through.
I could refresh Twitter like 10 times instead of watching some of these songs.
And
it's preferable.
Yeah.
It's preferable. In case you couldn't tell, the episode that we're talking about is season 3, episode 4, Pot of Gold, which occurred and is a legitimate episode of Glee that we can't totally ignore.
I didn't remember it.
I only knew because I was like, oh, right, the first kid from the Glee Project shows up and then doesn't go away. Great. I did forget how painfully Irish he is.
Yes. He is
in a way
Irish.
Like, he wears green the entire episode.
Like, he's Irish in a way that, you know, the writers were just thinking, what are some Irish things we can do? And not that the actor actually would have made those choices independently.
Yeah. No, it's just straight up, this is funny. Like, it's not funny at all.
It's like we're following up one episode of all like bad Asian stereotypes with an episode of all bad Irish stereotypes. Just keep it going.
Yep. I mean, I guess if he were older, he'd be a drunk.
That's true.
And maybe he is. That scene got cut out for time.
Kristen Chenoweth wasn't in this one, so
I know, that would have been
flying with booze.
Much preferred. I'm going to do a quick recap of this episode for anyone who hasn't seen it or doesn't remember it, both of which are totally legit.
You probably saw it. Yeah. And your brain just
cut it right out.
Repressed it way down. Yep.
Just push that way deep down inside. So Rory, a foreign exchange student from Ireland, is new to McKinley and is staying at Brittany's home. Aside, how?
Why?
And it's clear he has a crush on her. After Quinn's return to the New Direction, she tells Puck that she wants Beth back from Shelby and asks for Puck's assistance. However, Puck and Shelby seem to have found a romantic connection together, which, ew. Finn assists Rory and convinces him to join the Glee Club, while Shelby's all-female Glee Club, how many times do I have to say this? Anyway, the Troubletones recruits Mercedes and 2 other members from New Directions, leaving the Glee Club in shock. The episode was directed by Adam Shankman and written by Allison Adler.
Oh, Adam.
I know. Oh,
I love Adam. He's way too talented to be so entangled with Glee.
I know. So I guess we should just really start with the beginning. We have Rory, what was his last name? Flanagan?
Flanagan?
Irishman. I literally just wrote Rory Irishman, and I don't care if that's racist.
That's that. I mean,
that's
not any more racist than the writers were, so.
Yeah. This is Damian McGinty, the star, I guess, winner of the first season of the Glee Project, which we have discussed before and agreed is terrible.
It shockingly has 2 whole seasons, right? Like, that's wild.
At least. Yeah, at least. So his, you can't see my air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes around his win on the Glee Project got him a guest starring role on the show that was eventually extended to 18 entire episodes, which is basically this whole season. And if you still don't remember him as a character, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Just check out Damian's Instagram, apparently. He will remind you that this
will remind you his glory days
of his career, yes.
Yeah. So, as the recap mentions, he is a foreign exchange student and is somehow, for some reason, staying with Brittany and I guess her parents. And she thinks he's an actual leprechaun.
Yeah.
So
this is another one of those things. I'm just gonna go ahead and like bring in all of the Brittany related storylines here.
Yeah, please.
I really hate that in the episode where she and Santana kind of like make it official, which I didn't remember that was this episode, but I remember that happening, and like I like their storyline, but I don't like the whole like parallel of Brittany is literally so childish and naive that she thinks this exchange student is a leprechaun versus like her and Santana talking about like sexy baths and stuff. Like, don't sexualize her while also infantilizing her. I don't like that. I want to enjoy the lesbian or whatever you call it. She's not a lesbian, but the pretty
ladies loving ladies. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I couldn't think of that. I don't know why I couldn't think of that phrase. But yeah. I want to enjoy that without you telling me that this is also someone who has very little ability to reason.
You want it without her thinking that she can make her cat poop candy bars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. She eats it out of the litter box. Like, what?
I know. And also, fuck this exchange student for going along with it because he wants to get in her pants.
That's also creepy. He's supposed to be like sweet and charming, I think, but really, the whole pot of gold innuendo thing, not doing it for me.
Literally,
I 100% forgot that was happening until he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get into her pot of gold." Like, oh no.
When that phrase came up, I was just like, wait, is this episode titled after a vagina euphemism? Is that where we are right now?
Yeah. It is.
That's where we are. And he touched every single one of those Lucky Charms. Like, just what? There's just so many levels of disgusting.
I mean, he did. Well, it took what would have been like an innocently boring episode and just made it like slightly creepy. There's another storyline that also makes it slightly creepy, but for now, focusing on this, just didn't need that. Could you not just be total creepers about teenage characters, please, Glee writers?
He also put an entire box of cereal on a public school desk.
Ugh,
and that's
questionable.
That's gross. The rest of it's problematic, but that's just wrong.
Unsanitary.
I think Rory McIrishman started COVID. I think that's where it came from, was rotten marshmallows on a public school desk.
I mean, if Glee were still on air, we might be getting that storyline where, like, Brittany thinks that Lord Tubington started COVID or something.
Yeah. And that if you drank enough Corona beer, you would become immune to it.
Oh no, that definitely would have been the punchline.
Encore, blame it on the alcohol, though. I wouldn't be mad. That's one of my favorite episodes.
That's fair.
So why was Rory getting bullied, like, just for being Irish? Like, I thought that was so strange. Like, when I was in school, cute boys with foreign accents were, like, immediately, like, a god in school.
Yeah.
Like, all the
Especially
girls
because he's
all
an
over
exchange
them.
student.
Yeah, he's interesting. He has a fun accent. He's cute.
Yeah, and he would not have been bullied.
And these fucking hockey players with mullets are like, go back to Mexico. Like, I'm just so confused.
That was also like a really lame joke that he's Irish, but they're like, go back to Mexico. Like, you could have. Was that the first pass of that joke and no one could punch it up? Like, that was it? That's all they had?
I think Glee only made first passes.
That's true. There was no second pass.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah. Those are words. That's
Get it? Because immigration. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
That does make me wonder what their standards for their, what is it? The home sharing? The
foreign exchange something.
Yeah, foreign exchange. Like, how did Brittany even sign up for that? Or did she just accidentally wake up with another person in her house and was like, that's fine, it's a leprechaun?
And if her parents did explain it to her and she still didn't grasp it, that again goes back to the maybe let's not talk about like how she and Santana have regular sex. I don't know. That just this whole rewatch of Glee has just like creeped me out when it comes to people sexualizing Brittany, because I didn't remember how childish they made her.
Childish, and then at the scene at Breadsticks with her and Santana, she obviously knows what a date is and thinks that they have already been on several dates.
Wait, isn't this a date? Aren't you paying? Because I ordered shrimp.
Yeah.
So it's not like them eating dinner and having conversations doesn't equate to date to her. It does. But leprechaun, like they can't both be true.
Right. And I would like to just think that one of them is true, but like Glee, you could have just given me a little bit more.
But it's Glee.
Yeah.
I always wondered why I never really was on board with like the Brittany Santana like ship. Like, why was I so happy and excited about Klaine and I felt nothing when it came to like Britannia? And I think this was it. I think it was like the way that it made no sense. Like her characterization, the way they get together, the way they characterize her relationship with Santana, like they make it official when before it had been kind of a joke, but Brittany remains a joke. Like she's still the butt of so many jokes.
Yeah.
Well into the third season here. And it's like, how am I supposed to get excited about this character and her story arc? She's not allowed to say the word bisexual. Like she literally believes that a human person is a leprechaun for some reason. Like how?
Yeah, they don't take it seriously, so why should we?
Yeah, so like her relationship with Santana is automatically also a joke. Yes, exactly. Such bullshit.
Whereas with Klaine, only the viewers were jokes.
That's right.
Hey.
Klaine was always like, Klaine had some ridiculous storylines, but they were always treated like this is the most serious, like seriously handled relationship on the show by far, which is not a high bar to clear, but
that just like pisses me off because like in watching it, I don't know, I'm very defensive of, I'm going to say with anyone who's not a fan of Glee, I'm defensive of Brittany and Santana, and just in the fact that they had, you know, it was like an actual couple. I'll be like, no, they really did get together. 'Cause I've had that conversation a couple of times when people are like, Glee only was interested in white boys.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. But amongst people who've actually seen the show, yeah, no, I fully agree. Like,
right. Yeah.
You couldn't take it seriously, but like, I would have loved to have taken it seriously, Glee. Like,
yeah,
I'm about that.
Especially since it was there from the very beginning. Yeah. Their little pinky holds and the...
Like, it could have been just as good a story as Klaine.
Yeah.
And sometimes they treated it... Yeah, sometimes they treated it equally to Klaine. Like, spoilers for next season, right? They're in the breakup episode too. Like, it's the three main couples are all kind of on equal footing in that episode. Like, they want it to be serious until they want it to be a joke. Like, they just can't make up their mind about it. and they didn't treat other relationships like that.
They want it to be serious, but they also don't want to give it any screen time in terms of like serious stuff. Like, because I think by the time the 4th season happened and they started getting included more stuff, it was because like the fans were beginning to speak up, and the fans were not mostly straight.
Yes.
Like the enthusiastic fan bases online were like, no, we like these people, because like Britannia had a lot of fans.
Definitely,
they did.
Yeah.
Well, because there weren't. It was the only couple. It was the only, women loving women couple on the show where there was some other representation of gay, bi, queer men.
Yeah.
I mean, not a ton, but you have Klaine, Sebastian's queer. There were other. Blaine had that dude at the Gap that he had a crush on. Like there were other.
There were like one-off characters.
Men. Yeah. But they're like, I can't remember or think of another queer female character other than the two.
Quinn hooks up with Santana that one time, and that's it.
Yes, but isn't that one that they kind of play off as a joke too?
Oh yeah, some total bullshit.
It's like, yeah, and in the other relationships, one of the partners isn't portrayed as childish. Like Kurt can be outlandish, and he can be the butt of jokes for a number of reasons, but he's still in the end taken seriously as a person, where Brittany is not.
I mean, even when like things happen with the characters, like spoilers, but Heather leaves the show. Like even that didn't really get a serious send off. It was a very like stupid storyline.
Oh yeah, the
MIT or something. I think it's MIT.
Yeah.
Because she's been a genius all along.
But like even within this singular episode, like Santana tells Rory that her wish is, or whatever, is that Brittany, will leave the New Directions to join the Troubletones. So like even Santana is taking advantage of this like childlike innocence that they've baked into Brittany's character, like manipulating her into leaving to go to the Troubletones with her. And it's like,
and that's what creeps me out. Like hearing, I mean, I don't want to say just like the earlier jokes, because I will say the jokes about her being like raped at camp much worse.
Yeah, but, definitely worse.
Still just don't like it. Still,
it really shouldn't be a sliding scale that exists in the first place.
Yes,
we shouldn't have to be like, this joke about her being raped at summer camp is still worse. Like it shouldn't be a discussion of how bad are the comments about Brittany. But it's Glee.
But it's Glee.
But it's Glee.
The fuck else are we supposed to do with this show? The deep heaving sighs of people still thinking about this 10 years later.
With very strong opinions.
Agonizing 10 years later.
I always come back to that like we could have had it all. Like you think of the potential of a TV show, and that's what really makes you angry about it. Isn't that a scene is bad or a storyline is bad or that even a whole season is bad. It's that it had all these bits and pieces that could have worked really well in someone else's hands.
Yeah, I mean, that really is it. Like, at the heart of all of these bad things are good things that you
just
wish you had.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to say, like, oh, Shonda Rhimes could have done a better job because, we all know what happens to Grey's Anatomy. It's a shit show. But, like, I mean, no offense to anyone who loves Grey's Anatomy. I did, too. But I quit it. Anyway, that's another discussion.
Tune in for Emily's Grey's Anatomy podcast.
Tune in tomorrow for why I stopped watching after Christina Yang left.
Wise decision.
Right. So, there are other showrunners who would have made a different show out of this and potentially a whole lot better. And that's the angry thing. Yeah. That's what's frustrating.
Or even if Ryan Murphy just hadn't gotten distracted with American Horror Story and his 1,000 other projects halfway through.
And even if he is distracted, then either fully give up control or remain the head showrunner. Like, you can't have a weird in and out, popping in. Like, of course we don't know what the day-to-day work on the show was because they will literally never tell us. Other than we did learn no table reads. Which is fucked up. Like, I cannot explain to you how fucked up.
How would a normal show do that? Would they table read every episode?
Yeah. Yeah, because the point of a table read is for everyone to get a sense of the episode and where it fits in the season, because so many, for the most part, TV shows are not necessarily filmed in order. So, like, a movie is not filmed in order. You never start with scene 1 and you don't end with scene 100. Like, a TV show, especially this one, like they've talked about, because they have songs to learn and dances to learn and all this kind of shit, you just do scenes throughout the day for an episode. So a conversation that two characters have in the beginning of the episode could have been filmed the very last day. So a table read allows for the actors to kind of try to like form a sense of continuity about what their arc and emotional like their emotions for the episode are supposed to be like, so that when they do have to film them out of order, you can look back and say, okay, my character already said this and this and already felt this way, so now I feel this way.
So really, Glee actors were just like horribly handicapped.
Yes. So if you don't get a chance to really sit down, and a table read doesn't take that fucking long, page a minute. Like, if you don't get the chance to do that, I think you kind of handicap them in the approach for the episode, personally. And it's fun because that, like, anyway.
Well, I would imagine,
because at a table read, like, any surprises are like, you can see people's reaction to like a plot twist in an episode all kind of together, right? Like, I mean, a famous table read now is the one for Game of Thrones, right? Yeah. When we find out what so-and-so does to so-and-so, like, you get the reaction of all the cast all together.
That just seems important for the cast to be on the same page to, like...
Yes, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. So to not do that, harking back to this episode, like, how are they ever supposed to know how to react scene to scene when, if you've never had a table read and you've never, surely they read, well, I don't actually know that. Maybe the actors don't read their scripts all the way through and only read their pages or their sides. But, like, how would you even know the progression of your character through the episode if you don't do it? Well, but I'm not an actor.
A lot of times the writers don't even seem to know the progression of the character, unfortunately.
I know. And then I think then you end up with this crap where you're like, so wait, she feels this way in this episode, but now all of a sudden it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, that is Glee. Like,
yeah. So I don't know. That was a U-turn or a side turn, but
no, it's cool that we bring this up because I thought this episode particularly was very self-aware. There's several lines throughout the episode that are like very Glee meta. I don't know if you guys like specifically wrote them down, but Sue says like something about she's talking about how much money the arts cost, and she's like,
I think that might be a better use of school funds than flying the Glee Club to New York without a set list, only to lose at nationals with a song they made up the night before.
Yeah,
I did.
Like, how fucking self-aware is that? And yet there's no improvements made. Like, I don't get the point of making a joke at your own expense like that.
Yeah, if you're not like trying harder next time.
Yeah, if you're just gonna continue to be as terrible.
Yeah.
As substandard.
I wrote that down too. I was like, yeah, that's beautiful. But also unearned, because they don't fix it. Like,
yeah. You can't poke fun at yourself if you're just gonna keep making the same mistakes over and over. Like, it's not funny or interesting. It just makes us feel like, do you think we're stupid? Like,
right. Well, so like, if we take this exact example where they're using school money to do what a Glee Club does, but like we talked about in your mini episode, they're supposed to be focusing at least on a set list throughout the year or for a portion of the year to take to a competition. And yet for these, I don't know, the first 5-6 episodes of the season, all they're doing is working on the school musical. Like, how is that? They're still not spending any time focusing on being a show choir. And in the meantime, that's the thing, is their competition is now like focused, and they're suddenly like, oh no, we got competition. Like, yeah, of course you do, because you don't do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even acting like a show choir. You're just acting like a drama club, and that's a different show.
They have booty camp where they work on nothing of consequence, no choreography, no specific stage blocking or anything. They're just like learning literally grapevine and like step touch and like ball changes. Like they say that out loud. That's what they're learning at booty camp. What?
Blaine teaches them more choreography during the Last Friday Night song than they ever learn in practice.
Yes.
He teaches them the Dalton step touch, and that's the most choreography.
Speaking of a bright spot of the episode.
Yes, let's talk about that, because what a Blairin
I know, it's
moment. It's literally Blaine, Darren, and Aaron Christopherson all at the same time.
I totally forgot it was.
I'd forgotten it was in this episode, and I got so excited.
I saw him in the outfit with the hat. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's that song. Yeah. I think we need to have a little like Blairin alarm that pops up whenever we talk about these Blairin moments. Here it comes, because how insanely Blairin is this? And I get why people hate it, and in this instance, I can't be totally mad about it.
I loved it. I mean, I do, like you said, I understand why people hated it, but like that in the middle of an episode that I was like not super enjoying, that made me smile.
Yeah.
If anybody out there has forgotten, Darren was in the Last Friday Night Katy Perry music video playing a character named Aaron Christopherson, and is now singing it on Glee as Blaine. So it is like literally a three versions of Darren moment
all at once.
Just full fucking circle.
I feel like we are doing what the show does and forgetting that Kevin McHale was also in the Katy Perry video.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Playing a character named Everett, which is Darren Chris's middle name. And I'm sure that was just coincidence, but it does add a Blairin layer to everything.
We need Illuminati music playing right now.
A little.
As this podcast turns into 7 degrees of Darren Criss.
7? We don't need 7. Well, I guess taking the turn back to this. This is also the beginning of this little Blaine v. Finn competition tiff thing that they try to make happen that no one really cares about. But it does give us Blaine's sad little face when very tall Finn tells him off.
Finn is a dick this episode in general.
He really is.
Like
Finn's a dick a lot of this season.
That's also true. And he's like angry for no reason, but also you kind of know the reason, like, but also for no reason. I'm just like, Finn, get it together, my dude. But yeah, he calls Brittany an idiot. He tells off Blaine when Blaine's just like trying to be nice and like be a team player.
Yeah.
Why?
Also, as if
Blaine can't help it if it's better than him.
That's true. It can't be helped. But also, as if Rachel hasn't been the star of this fucking show the whole time, and now suddenly Blaine does one song to try to make people feel better, and Finn's like, "That's not how we do it at Dalton." Like, all right, or not how we do it in McKinley, whatever the fuck he says. Like,
no, but it's true. Last Friday Night is like such a feel good scene because we don't get many of these like genuine group numbers very often.
Damn, last Friday night, yeah, we did some tabletops and we took too many shots. Think we kissed, but I forgot. Last Friday night, yeah, we maxed our credit cards and got kicked out of the bar, so we hit the boulevard. Last Friday night, we were streaking in the park, skinny dipping in the dark, then had a menage a trois. Last Friday night.
And like, yes, obviously Darren's vocals are lead, but it sounds like a choir song. Like everyone's voices are in the background, everyone's dancing, lots of cute Klaine moments. The only really cute Klaine moments in the whole episode, like lots of little cute moments between many different characters. Like it truly is the bright point in this whole episode. And then they just let Finn shit all over it.
Yeah, and Blaine makes a point to get everyone kind of up and dancing. It's not like he's just standing in front of them parking barking. I just needed a reason to say that.
And I think he says a little speech beforehand too, where he's like, this is, for everyone, like this, I want all of us to get up and sing together, which is the best part of choir. Like anyone who's been in a choir before knows, like that is what keeps you coming back, is like, there's just something addictive and like adrenaline pumping about like being up there, making something beautiful with all these other people. Like you're putting your voices together and making this one singular thing. Like that's a big deal. Glee, the show, hardly ever has numbers like that.
Yeah. It's always who is going to be the solo of this performance.
Yeah, it's very
reminiscent. How are you going to fight for it?
It's very reminiscent of the Ride With Me like scene from season 1, in my opinion. Like the visuals, the song, like the way that they're interacting with each other really reminds me of that. So fuck you, Finn. Fuck you, writers, for making Finn say that. Like what?
Yeah, say that bullshit. Just let Blaine live.
I feel like in a way, like, it would have made more sense if it were Rachel that was upset that Blaine was trying to do something to pull the whole group in. Whereas Rachel's like, no, this can be a one-person show.
Yeah.
It's my
show.
But I guess they wanted the macho Finn alpha male challenge thing.
Alpha guy dude thing.
Yeah.
The
Sorry, I can try to sound less interested, but I'm just very, very uninterested in that.
Yeah.
The only animosity I wish to have between Blaine and anyone else comes later in the season.
Hey.
Very soon. Next episode. We're just biding our time till the first time. It's really all we're doing. Speaking of Finn, though, why did Rory know who Finn was? Like, that whole scene was just so cringy.
Finn Hudson! Like, no.
Like, he's abreast of the show choir circuit. Like, that was really the explanation they gave. It's just like, he really knows American show choir really well.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he has a Tumblr dedicated to American show choir.
I'm sure.
He has tags for Finn, like people tags, person tags.
That whole scene was just indescribable. Why did it go down like that? In what high school situation would you walk into a brand new school, see this person, and be like, I know exactly who you are. Do you want to be my friend? Like, what?
Especially since Finn's been getting slushied for like 2 years now. It's not like he's prom king, top dog, track star, already has a full ride to some prestigious college. Like, he's not shit.
I mean, I feel like you're looking at it from the wrong angle, because based on his characterization in this episode with the whole pot of gold thing, I think it's more like he probably has like a Tumblr where he's like stalking all the Glee members, hoping someone has posted like cheerleader upskirts or something.
Yes, that's true. He is obsessed with the pot of gold.
Yeah.
Gross.
McKinley is just the most nondescript high school in all of America, and yet somehow.
What if it's not, though? Like, what if in this universe, like, everyone knows about McKinley because of how fucked up it is?
Yeah.
Like,
that would make sense.
Like, it's like reverse Hogwarts. Like, everyone just kind of knows around the country, like, oh, I know a dude who knew a guy who went to McKinley. They hear about cheerleaders getting shot out of cannons.
Yeah. They don't actually win any of the like nationals competitions or whatever, or like regionals, but everyone advances them just because like they want to be able to say McKinley was there.
They do, yeah. Like any sport that they are in, like, oh, we should just let him in. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it'll be some crazy shit.
Something crazy's gonna happen, you guys.
And then it does.
We heard their show choir director tried to frame a guy with weed.
Blackmailed him.
I would have loved it. I don't know. Do either of you watch Community?
I've seen the Glee episode of Community.
I've seen some episodes, yeah.
Okay, so Community has an episode where like the whole thing is the kind of the hook of the whole episode is that you realize by the end of it that like the people, the main cast, are kind of the dicks in a lot of situations. I would have loved to have seen an outside perspective episode of Glee where, like, you see how romanticized they are within their own world. Like, they get on, like, stage to sing at regionals, and, like, it's very obviously a shitty song they just made up with a horrible out of sync choreography.
Yeah,
and you know,
that would have been much more realistic. Yes.
A moment of how the rest of the world sees them before it goes back to how they see themselves.
Yes. Oh, that'd be awesome. That would have been so good. Like people in the audience just getting up to use the bathroom during their set list.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really this podcast's specific gift to the world, though. Like many gifts, but that one being that voice of reason of like, what?
Yeah. People are like filming it for Twitter or the equivalent version in 2011. Like, look at this shit, you guys.
Like it shoots to their trophy case, but actually you see that it's all just participation levels.
They're just like plastic pieces of crap.
Yeah.
We got 12th place, guys. Out of 13.
Oh man.
I'm gonna pretend that happens.
I would love that.
That would have been fantastic.
The like headcanon in my mind.
Like they're at a competition and you're like tracking them down a hallway and they pass by another Glee club, and instead of following the new directions, like it swings around to see the other club just like making fun of them and like, what the fuck, like spending a few seconds of them saying like, oh, there's those fuckheads. I heard they don't have any money.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I heard they had to sell Laffy Taffy just to get it. But really, it's the other rival clubs buying all the taffy just to make sure that they can get there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not interesting.
Yeah.
McKinley's not there. What do they talk about?
Yeah, like, oh, okay, like the best team will win this time if McKinley's not there. But if they are,
it's entertaining.
then we got some fun. Ticket prices go up when you know they're coming.
Okay, but speaking of the taffy, this episode was another fucking we need to raise funds episode.
I know.
They have
I was trying to ignore it.
Like clockwork, once again.
Yeah. I mean, at least this time. Okay, well, they're raising funds for something different, so that's new
for the musical.
And I at least they thought of something realistic this time of selling ad space in a program. That's a thing.
I loved the scene with like the funeral workers who decided to fund the musical, and the one guy says like, "I'm a big fan of West Side Story because there are so many deaths."
Yeah.
Like that was just too good. That was really choice.
I liked the guy when they were listing off like their funeral homes. He goes,
"And mine is a crematorium, so we also bake and deliver delicious brick oven pizza."
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? Yes. So yes, this need for money is kind of the lead up to Papa Burt running for Congress.
Yes, Papa Burt.
Which
also something I enjoyed that I completely forgot happened in this episode.
Yeah, me too. Totally forgot that it was like this early in the show that he runs for Congress. I definitely thought this was like a season 5 thing, which goes to show you how wonky time is.
Time doesn't exist right now, so I think this can be forgiven.
It doesn't. But I did like, of all the storylines in this episode, this was one that had like some oomph behind it, right? Like he says the line about like,
your Glee Club saved my kid's life.
And that's a callback to something that was meaningful earlier, and it's still meaningful, and it's like a real reason to run for local office. Or no, it's not, it's Congress. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, against Sue, who's running the opposite, which is that like we should cut all the arts for reasons.
Yeah, just because she doesn't like Mr. Schuster. / definitely wants to bone.
I would go to a lot of links because I don't like Mr. Schuster, but still can't get behind.
Don't know if I would move to Washington for it.
Hey,
no, but
there's a good Washington.
Exactly. Washington State all the way. P and Dubs.
Thank you.
I love Burt so much. This is no secret, but I really love like he's such a strong presence. Like you said, like Burt himself is such a driving force in this storyline. They reference his heart attack, like continuity. Whomst. That's amazing.
That's
continuity.
Whomst.
he tells Kurt, he's like, I'm proud of you, Kurt. I don't care who knows it. Like, just, he's the best person on this show. Hands down, bar none.
Like, how did this, like, shit show of a writer's room manage to come up with, like, something they nailed that well?
They really
Maybe
did.
it's just Mike O'Malley, because he's also a screenwriter. Maybe he just wrote his own lines.
He just came in there and ad-libbed. He's like, nah, this sucks.
Yeah, I want to imagine that he just tossed the script in and was like, look, I got, I'm going to pinch hit for you guys here.
Yeah. They hand him his sides every day, and he's like, no, I brought my own.
No need.
I got this. You know what? I'm going to decide that that's what happened until proven otherwise. Until Mike O'Malley comes on the show and says different, that's how it went down.
I love it.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Mike's awesome, and we're done.
I mean, there's not much else. There's nothing else we need to discuss, that's for sure. That last storyline can just stay there.
I mean, the only other thing to talk about, because we're not going to bother talking about that other thing, because fuck that, is the Troubletones.
Candyman is such a wonderful number. It's so fun.
That's the only other one that I watched.
Staging, the harmonies. Oh, it's amazing.
I love that the Troubletones seem to have enough budget for costumes and a set just for like
for
practice.
Funsies. Yep.
Just for fun. Yeah.
I'm just assuming Shelly's just like writing the checks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You guys are like fighting over funding? Nah, look.
I got this.
Yeah, I bet her New York City paycheck goes much farther in Lima, Ohio. She's like, oh, we're good.
Yeah, we're fine. All right. So, is there any... I mean, we can talk about the other thing, but I don't feel like we need to, other than...
I don't think we need to. I mean...
Yeah.
There's unfortunately not much to say. Like...
Yeah.
No. It's just treating a character badly for the sake of treating a character badly, and I don't care.
Creating a love triangle for the sake of creating a love triangle, like, there was no need for that.
Nope. Oh, you know what we did totally miss, though?
What?
Unrelated. This is the episode that births the angry meme gif.
Oh my god, I meant to bring that up. That's my favorite gif. The lady with the sign in the air that just is angry.
Angry. Yeah.
Yes. That is one of my most favorite, like, absurd Glee moments. That protesting mom with the sign that just says angry.
Do you think she knows she's, like, meme famous?
She committed so hard to that role. I think she does know. I think she was, like, in there being like, I'm about to be a gif. She was ready.
2011. I don't think we knew that.
I don't know. We had Twitter back then.
We did. That's true. The file size was real small, though.
It was. The quality was real low. That is probably the highlight of this episode right there. Like, Burt, Last Friday Night, and the angry gif. Those are the best thing.
Yeah. That's it. That's the episode. We can run through the songs real quick. I didn't watch It's Not Easy Being Green. I didn't watch Puck, and I didn't watch Take Care of Yourself. I was like, that's 10 minutes that I could be eating. So
he just needed to stop wearing green. Like, it's not that hard. Yeah. Like, just change shirts. Like,
the song isn't It's Not Easy Being Irish. Like, no, that is something in your control.
Yeah, you can change your clothes. Or, like, are those the only clothes he has? Because Brittany keeps dyeing all of his clothes because she thinks leprechauns can only wear green.
Oh, man.
Probably. Against analyzing of Brittany, that actually would have been a funny reason for him to sing the song.
Yeah. But Last Friday Night and Candyman are great, so the others don't really exist as far as I'm concerned. Can't
even touch them. Those are the best.
No. And frankly, I would have loved to have seen Blaine in the Troubletones outfit, but that's...
Oh, yeah.
My god, that would have made my life.
Yeah. I think maybe that's just the movie Midway.
Well, what's funny about the Troubletones #2 is, like, the band in the back is definitely the same band that plays for the Glee Club, which is hilarious to me. Like, obviously, they just didn't hire other people to, like, play the instruments. And I know the Glee storyline is that they're, like, the jazz band or something, but, like, I was just like, that's definitely the same drummer. That's so funny to me. They just like poach their band too.
I also like to think of the Glee band / jazz band as being free agents. They're just like, yeah, whoever's gonna pay us, that's fine. Whoever, they just go to the highest bidder, lowest bidder, highest bidder.
I mean,
I
when
don't know
you're
how
out
many
of school as crazy as McKinley,
Yeah,
you got to do what you can.
Or maybe
Like-
that ties back into what we were saying earlier. The band just shows up because they want to see what kind of shit the Glee Club is going to say.
yeah.
And then they decide to play while they're there.
They're also the orchestra for the musical.
Probably. We got to keep an eye out next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet they are.
Because,
What else?
spoiler alert, they become members of the Glee Club this season
Ugh.
because everyone else leaves for the
That's
Troubletones.
right.
So,
Forgot.
like,
Eventually, we are all Glee.
that's what Loser Like Me was all about.
Boom.
Really,
Done.
full circle moment.
Is there even a Kevin McHale scale to discuss?
Was he in this episode? Did he say anything?
I'm sure he was. The camera was on him at one point during last Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
But not, not.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna give it a 0.25.
The Kevin McGill scale just says we were cheated in this.
Yeah.
Because if Darren got such like a prominent shout out to last Friday night because he was in the music video,
Yeah.
and Kevin was also in the music video, then Kevin got cheated.
He did. I think we should bring this up with Katy Perry, personally.
Yeah, definitely.
And frankly, we probably should have known Kevin was not straight because of the last Friday night video. We really.
Oh, sorry. That's the Stars in the House they just did, where he's like, "Well, I was straight."
Yes.
So like, how have you changed since Glee? Anyways,
I know. The Klainedex. I mean, it gets at least a few points for Blaine grabbing Kurt by his little waist.
Oh, so cute. The best moment. I would say at least a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm very generous. Like, they don't do anything else, but they have some cute moments.
They don't. I did note that the first time we see them in the choir room, they're sitting together.
Yes.
And then after that, they're sitting on 2 separate rows. And then after that, Rachel is sitting between them.
Rachel's in between them,
And
yes.
I was like, why?
I don't get it.
All right, Rachel,
It's just progressively worse.
She's just such a like little fruit fly. I'm just like, Rachel.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so
I just think Tina was the most fucked over because she should have been able to join the Troubletones or at least be the one who sang the song. Oh, or she should have been the one to sing the Unity song instead of Blaine.
we're gonna have to wrap this up. We were done anyway. There's nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
So yes, we're gonna just skip our favorite songs because obviously it's either Last Friday Night or Candyman, and both are great. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unanimously,
So
I think our favorite
we're gonna
song was
awkwardly
Last Friday Night.
wrap this up. If you've made it an hour into this recording anyway, congrats. So we'll be back with some mini episodes, and then the next episode is the first time. And we promise not to screw that one up at all because it's just way too important.
We'll leave the screwing to Curtain Light. The next episode.
Excellent joke, Mandy. Excellent.
Oh. Yes, exactly. So, thank you for listening. Check us out on all of those social media platforms. Insert promo for all of our things because I don't like doing that awkwardly. And I guess that's what B missed on Glee.